The summer sun fell softly over the valley, painting the fields gold. The river ran slow that evening, whispering to the tall grass as if sharing secrets of forgotten times. Beneath the old tree that had seen generations come and go, Elias waited, his sleeves rolled, his hands rough with work. His heart full of the kind of hope only love can create. He had come there every evening since spring began. Ever since Clara first walked by the riverbank with her brown dress brushing against the wildflowers. She was quiet, always carrying a basket, always lost in her own world, a world where love was too fragile to hold, and silence was safer than words. The town talked about them, of course. In a place that's small, even a shared glance could turn into a story. But Elias didn't care. He'd spent years building fences, fixing roofs, and burying dreams that didn't fit the life he had. Until he saw that she, too, was lonely in a world that didn't forgive women who dreamed. Their love grew quietly, like wild grass near the stream, unnoticed but alive. They met under that same old tree whenever they could. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes they just sat in silence, listening to the wind. There were no promises. No grand confessions, just a shared peace that felt like home, but the world beyond the valley wasn't kind. War had begun far away, and the men were being called to fight. Elias knew his time was coming. One night, he told her, his voice trembling, "If I don't come back, promise me you'll remember this place, not me, but this peace we had." Clara couldn't answer. She only pressed a dried flower into his hand and said softly, "Then take this with you. It's not a promise, it's a prayer." The next morning, he left before the sun rose, and the old tree stood alone by the stream again, listening to the echo of footsteps that would not return for a long time. Years passed like slow water. The war ended, and the world changed. Clara stayed in the same small town, tending to her garden and teaching the children how to read. She never spoke of Elias, but sometimes, when the wind blew from the west, she would stop, close her eyes, and listen, as if waiting for a voice carried by the breeze. Many said he had died. A few claimed they saw him in a faraway city. Clara never believed the stories. She believed only in silence, for silence had been the truest part of their love. One evening, as the sun bled into gold once again, a familiar figure appeared by the river. Time had changed him, his beard thicker, his shoulders bent, eyes full of memories he could never forget. Elias had returned. When she saw him, she didn't speak. Neither did he. The years between them fell away like dust in the light. He took a step closer, holding something in his hand, the dried flower she had given him. "It's all I could keep safe," he said quietly. Her eyes glistened, but her lips stayed still. She wanted to tell him everything, the nights she had prayed for his safety, the mornings she had walked by the river hoping for a shadow that wasn't there. But all she said was, "You came back." And he answered, "I always said I would." They met again under the old tree. The sun was setting the same way it had all those years ago. The stream murmured softly, as if it remembered their laughter, their silence, their love. Elias told her stories of the war, of the men who never came home, of the dreams he had buried beside theirs. Clara listened without interruption, her eyes on the horizon where light met water. Finally, he held out his hand, and in it lay the same dried flower, now fragile as dust. "This is all that's left of what we were," he whispered. Clara took it gently, her hands trembling. "No," she said, "this is what remains of what we still are." The wind moved through the grass. The sun kissed the river one last time, and for a moment everything stood still, the world. The pain, even time itself? They didn't need words anymore. The silence between them was enough. Under the old tree by the stream, their love whispered its final words, not of goodbye, but of peace. When morning came, only the sound of the river remained. And if you listen closely, even now, you might hear their love in the rustle of the leaves, whispering softly through the golden fields, a love that never truly ended.